Hello, welcome to today's audio log. The time is 6:26 p.m. on the 7th of February 2024. I kind of forgot to do an audio log yesterday. As I mentioned, I have my D&D session on Tuesday, and after our session ended, I just wanted to hang out with the other people in my group, and that's what we did for quite a few hours. I actually ended up going to bed at like 1:30 in the morning, which is quite late for me. Um, at least now it is. So yeah, it was. I was just having a good time. I was just hanging out, enjoying, chatting with them. It was nice. And since I'm on the subject of D&D, I feel like I need to talk about the session last night. It was a honestly quite a crazy session. We started our session, obviously finishing up where we oh obviously starting where we finished up last time, which was in the middle of a fight, or at least for some of us it was. In the session before last, the party decided to split and investigate this cave that we were in. And two people um, went left, and they found some bad guys who were like gambling in a room, and the party members decided to join them, and they somehow managed to get in there. And then the other three found themselves in a crypt, which started to reawaken skeletons. So that turned into a fight. So the party was split, and the pair that went off to go gamble actually managed to win straight away, and those bad guys didn't like that much, so they stopped the pair from leaving, and that turned into a fight for them. But it was like 2v4 or something. But I'll get back into that in a second. The other three were just fighting skeletons in a room until one of the other bad guys showed up as well. But the three over there handled it, and they all came out fine. Well, I say that. One person actually fell unconscious but was brought back, and another person was very injured at the end. I, on the other hand, I came out of that fight unscathed, so I was feeling pretty good. But while that was happening, the two that were gambling with the bad guys, like I said, it turned sour. It turned into a fight, and because they were outnumbered, they actually both died, like fully died. Both of their characters are now dead. They are out of the campaign, and it was kind of traumatic. It was a little bit sad. I felt bad for the people, because obviously, I mean, our characters don't know everything that we as human beings playing the game know. So like above game, we knew that the other two were in trouble and they were going down, but our characters didn't know that, so we just had to keep playing as if, you know, they didn't know, because they didn't know. So after we finished fighting our skeletons, we decided to regroup, because two of us were quite injured. We said, let's pause here, let's regroup with the others and see what happens. And then that's when we go back to them. We find their dead bodies out in that cave, and this all happened, by the way, within like the first 30 minutes of the session. So yeah, that was quite a quite a difficult start to our session. And because this wasn't obviously it wasn't planned. Our DM didn't seek to kill us. Um, he kind of like paused the game for a moment, and he discussed what we all discussed, like what should happen next. Like, do we continue with the session with them being dead? Do we just stop the session right here, or do they make new characters and rejoin? We decided to go with the third option and just have them make new characters and rejoin into the session a bit later on. Because obviously this campaign is run for new people. Like, we're all new to the game, and losing a character this early on, especially into the campaign, but not losing a character early on into this campaign is it's going to be quite difficult. So we role played out everything. The people who survived, we role played out what happened. Like, we carried their bodies, we ended up burying them in the nearby village, and we had like a whole funeral and everything. And that's when the new characters showed up. Thankfully, the two people who died had backup characters, so it didn't take long for them to come back into the game, and they've made it work. Like, for the story, so it all kind of makes sense. In fact, the two new characters are related to the two characters who died, so it all kind of makes sense. But yeah, what a crazy session that was! Like, completely unexpected. I mean, that's what happens when you split the party, I suppose. But yeah, it was really fun actually to play that. And everyone was super happy about it at the end. And yeah, so it was really fun. And we also, at the end of the session, we all leveled up. So we're all level 3 now, which is a huge advancement for a lot of us. I don't remember what everyone... Actually, I don't think we fully disclosed what we all chose for our options at level 3, because typically in D&D, at level 3, your character and the class that they have chosen to play as, there's well, depending on who you play, there you can choose a subclass for your character. So a lot of us were able to choose subclasses, and I don't think we fully disclosed to each other what we picked. I think we're trying to save that for the next session. But yeah, that was really fun to go through that process, because honestly, my character's a fighter, so he actually had quite a few options that he could go down, or like routes that he could go down for subclasses, and I settled on the subclass Rune Knight, which to me sounded really cool, but it also made sense for my character, because I was wondering how this all played out. Like, I even asked my DM afterwards, like, now that our characters have leveled up to 3 and a lot of them have new subclasses, how do we like insert this into their story? Do we say that they've always been like this thing now? Like, they've always like, for example, my character, has my fighter character always been a Rune Knight, or has he just recently learned the ways of Rune Knight? I don't know. I was trying to figure that out, but I think I have, and it makes sense for my character. Really cool subclass, by the way. I didn't even know it existed until I saw it in the list. I did my research, and it looks really cool. So yeah, I'm super excited to play the next session. I've hinted, like, I gave the others who I was chatting with after the session a couple of hints for my character and what subclass they chose, and they sounded quite excited by it, so I'm excited, and we're all just looking forward to the next one. So yeah, we also obviously have 2 new characters in the party now, one of them being the mother of one of the deceased characters, and then the other one being the sister of the other deceased character. So yeah, new party, new adventure, new subclasses. It was a pretty big session last night. It was really fun. So yeah, wow, I can't believe I've just talked for about 10 minutes on one thing. That was one thing that happened yesterday. But to be fair, it was like the biggest thing. Other than that, oh, actually, fuck, there was something else that happened that was kind of significant. Let me let me rewind back to yesterday morning. Um, I I heard from my mum that in the night there were these like loud bangs outside. I didn't hear them, but she did, and we. Oh, it wasn't just loud bangs. It was like well, it was loud bangs. That's what we thought originally, but then we saw because we have one of those doorbells with like the camera on it, so you can like see out the front of the house. Apparently, there were fire engines that were here around here. Um, we live like right next to a farm, basically, and these loud bangs happened on the farm, and that's also where the fire engines went. Turns out, somebody stole a car and drove it into this farm area, and they either drove into something that exploded or the car itself exploded. I don't know which, but nobody uh, was injured, I don't think. There were no ambulances or anything. It was just a fire engine. So that's what happened. That's what caused all that noise in the like early hours of the morning. And then later on in the day, this car pulls up outside of our house, and there are four people inside, and two young girls get out, probably around like mid-20s, I would say. They both get out of their car and they start knocking on all of the doors. There's only 3 houses on our road, so it didn't take them long to get to us. And basically, they were simply asking about their car. It was apparently their car that got stolen, and so they were asking around to see if they could get any more information, see if we caught anything, like captured anything on like a camera or anything like that. We couldn't really help them much, but yeah. So that was kind of a strange experience that happened yesterday. Um, yeah. After we spoke to them, they just kind of got in their car and they left. But yeah, what a wild thing to have happened. I've lived in this house since 2013, and that's probably the craziest thing that's happened here. So not much happens, but it's a quiet street. Like I said, only 3 houses, so yeah, not much happens down here. But that was something else that happened yesterday. I think that's probably like the main things that happened yesterday. I'm not going to bother going into the minor details. But yeah, as for today, well, today I woke up quite late because, like I said, I had a late night, so I woke up late as well. And I did watch an episode of Critical Role earlier today, which is the first one I've watched in a few days. Obviously, still very entertaining to watch. And then I guess my plans for the rest of the evening is just to play more Baldur's Gate 3, because that's what I've been doing this past week. So, yeah. Lots of fun stuff. I feel almost exhausted talking this much. And this has gone on for a while, so I'm going to call it here. I will be back tomorrow for the next one. Thank you for listening. I will, I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, I suppose. Good night.